Welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Janine B, and you're listening to Mom's Talk. Today we're going to talk about projection. You may be projecting your trauma onto your children and don't even know. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I'm really good with projecting my 13-year-old shit onto her. And we're two different kids. Like I grew up in a household with 3 older brothers and sisters, so I had older influences. Rather than she is the oldest child, and I have a 2-year-old, and that's a big gap between the age. So she's not really an influence on her per se, but that me projecting some of the things that I did that I shouldn't have been doing as a child and at that age onto her, that sometimes cause conflicts, and I'm seeing something that's not really there. So I'm still on the couch one day, just reading my book, eating, who knows what I'm on the couch doing. But I specifically remember my daughter. She comes out the room, starts putting on her shoes and her clothes, and she's excited, she's happy, she's trying to hurry up and run out the house. I'm straight grilling her for reasons I couldn't quite understand once she left out the house. I'm like, why do you even ask all these questions? Which in reality, what she was going to go do is put on her clothes so she can go play with the cat across the street. Outside, she was kicking it outside, playing with cats. Definitely did that as a child, different age. When I was 13 years old, I was doing so much shit. Like at 13 years old, I was ditching class. That's just the type of kid I was. I was ditching class. So when she walked out the house, I started projecting heavy on her. I'm like, what you doing? Like, she's like, I'm gonna go play with the cat. And I'm like, oh, so you got plans. And she's looking at me like I'm crazy. But then when she left out the house, I recognized heavy what I was doing. I'm like, she's not even that type of kid. Why did I see those things of her? Because those are the questions my mom should have been asking me when I was walking out the house, when I was on my way to school. Because I thoroughly remember cutting class at 13 years old. I was hanging out on the street because I used to be lying to my mom, telling her like I was at soccer or volleyball or tennis. None of these sports I played in grammar school, but she never used to let us go outside. So I was everywhere. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving out to go to my volleyball practice. But it's funny because it's like a subtle moment when I found myself projecting my childhood traumas onto her. And when I think about it now, I'm cracking up laughing. Even then I was dying laughing like, I can't get my shit together. So you guys, I'm reading this book by Will Smith. It kind of makes me think about projection, so I want to share a quote with you all. But as you can see, you all, I'm like, have notes and mark off. I read this book to my daughter. Some parts I'll call her in. One big part that probably don't have nothing to do with projection that I want to share. I read to her the Brick by Brick, the wall. He starts off about talking about building this wall with his dad. And I read it to her, but then she also asked me about his relationship with his dad, and in the book he talks about how his dad used to be his mom. So the way he feels about his dad is complicated. And after she heard me read a part where she recognized that what was happening, she'd say, how do he not hate his dad after she knew he was beating the mom? And I was explaining to her how complicated people are and how complicated our relationship with our parents are. But back to what we're talking about. In this part of the book, he's talking to his mom about, he's like in the kitchen talking to his mom about he no longer wants to go to college. He's into the rap game heavy, and he has this contract with someone, and he tells his mom, hey, basically, I don't want to go to college. That's not my plan. It's not my dream. This is what I want to do. And his mom simply says no. Her reason for saying no is that she don't understand rap. She don't know what rap is. She don't understand rap, and that's not the route she learned, she grew up thinking would make him successful. So she says no, she can't understand why he would want to do something like this. And his mom is big into college. I believe she actually works at a college or something. So, it's heavy on him. So when he had to tell his mom that, he recognized that he had to break her heart because he had to stop her from projecting what she wanted him to do because of the way she chose to live her life. So one of the things he says, people's advice is based on their fears, their experiences, their prejudice, and at the end of the day, their advice is just that, their advice. sometimes us as parents, we find ourselves projecting our fears onto our children. Like I said about Will Smith and his mother projecting her fears of him not going to college onto him because that's the way she knows. That's the only way she knows, or in her head is the only way to be successful. So it makes me think about not even just projecting my traumas, but projecting my fears onto my 2-year-old. So what she was doing, we were at the park and she was trying to get on something that she couldn't reach, and I was distracted and she fell and broke her elbow. So after her arm got healed and we went to the park again, she's trying to climb up this thing and I'm scared. Now I'm projecting my fear on her because I'm scared she's gonna fall again because I wasn't paying attention the first time when she fell and broke her elbow. So now she's climbing up the thing and I'm sitting there and I'm pulling her off and she's crying because I'm in fear and she has joy that she's going to make it. So I noticed, like, hey, how about you stop trying to stop her because she's screaming and drawing attention, but you assist her up to make sure she doesn't fall. So now she's going up and she gets to the top of the playground thing and she's screaming, she's happy, she's excited. And it kind of makes me think about at that part where Will Smith's mom and dad decides that, hey, we're going to let you pursue your dreams and we're going to be there to support you and we'll both see what happens together. And that just made me think about that. I stopped projecting my fears onto her, but I was there to support her just in case she did need me or if she did. It's this quote that stood out to me. It says, "The most dangerous psychological mistake is the projection of your shadow onto others. This is the root of almost all conflicts." I was reading my laptop. Anyhow, it's interesting. I love that quote, and it's interesting because that's definitely the root of all conflicts. Like even in Will Smith's book, that was his conflict. That was his biggest conflict with his mom. A mom who, if you listen to the parts prior to that, she was extremely supportive and they were happy. And as long as, like most things, as long as he was doing what they wanted him to do, everybody was happy. But anyway, I feel like that's an interesting quote. And sometimes that be the problems in your household and you don't even know it. Like, for example, one thing I found myself saying a lot about my daughter, I'm like, she'll never be able to get anything over on me. Like, I've done all type of shit. So when she'd be like, Mom, I'm going to the movies. I'm taking her to the movies. And I'm going to sit outside of the movies. And I'm going to make sure she's at the movies. Because I know from me projecting my fears and my traumas onto her what she could possibly be doing. But is that technically fair to her? Because when I was supposed to be at soccer, I was kicking on the block with my friends. Like, no, that's not fair to her. And then that cause conflicts within the household because it's like, you don't even trust me and I don't know why you don't trust me. But the reason why I don't trust her because I didn't trust myself at that age. I was doing all type of stuff and I'm projecting that onto her. So in order for us to get past the fact that, oh, she's like, you don't trust me, which is not technically not the issue. I always tell her, I trust you, I don't trust the rest of the world. So, but I'm definitely getting out of that. And I'm also learning as a parent that our children's life is not ours. And now we need to allow them room to make their own mistakes instead of taking the time out to project our fears onto them. You guys, this is mom talk coming back to me. Even if you're not a mom, you were a daughter to a mom. Tell me your experience with projection. Shit. Tell Will Smith to give me an endorsement, you guys. I want to laugh. I want to talk. I want to cry. I want to ask. I want to tell and wonder why. I want the tea. I want the smoke. So blow it high. If you enjoyed the video, and I know you did because I'm going to manifest that shit. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe so you won't miss the next video, and share with your family and friends. Because remember, I want the tea, I want the smoke, so blow it high.